Imagine this. You're 27 years old. You've just lost your job. Your car got repossessed. You're sleeping on a friend's couch. You have $63 in your bank account and a wife who promised for better or worse. One Tuesday morning, you wake up and she's gone. No note, no goodbye. Just an empty closet. And a text message that arrives while you're still staring at the bare hangers. Michael, I can't do this anymore. I'm moving in with David. He has a real job, a real future. Don't call me. Don't look for me. Just let me go. Less than greater than David. My college roommate. The guy who always had the newest iPhone, the leased BMW, the rich parents. I sat on that couch for 3 days straight. Didn't eat. Didn't sleep. Didn't cry. On the 4th day, my friend came home from work and said, "Man, you gotta leave. My girlfriend is moving in." I had nowhere to go. So I walked out with a backpack and $63 and disappeared. For 12 years. While she was posting wedding photos in the Maldives, while they were buying a $3.8 million house in the suburbs, while they were having 2 perfect children and building the perfect Instagram life, I was sleeping in 24-hour laundromats, eating from dumpsters, learning to code on a broken library computer with no name, no address, no hope. And every single night for 12 years, I whispered the same sentence to myself before I closed my eyes. One day, I will own their entire world. And they will never see me coming. Less than greater than. This is the exact moment a homeless, broken husband decided to disappear for 12 long years, to build an empire in absolute silence, and return as the man who would buy their lives 1,000 times over. You are not ready for what I did on the exact 12th anniversary of the day she left me with nothing. Year 0. The first winter. I slept in the 24-hour laundromat on 145th Street. The dryers gave off heat. I curled up between 2 industrial machines, using my backpack as a pillow, $63 in my sock. At 4:57 a.m. every morning, the manager kicked me out. I walked 38 blocks to the public library that opened at 8, sat in the same chair, same table, same broken computer number 17, until they closed at 10 p.m. I showered at Planet Fitness with a $10 per month membership I paid for by collecting cans. 25 cans equals 1 shower. I ate 1 meal a day. 2 chili dogs from 7-Eleven for $2.22 after tax. I saved the remaining $60.78 for 6 months until I could buy a $59 burner laptop from a pawn shop. Less than greater than year 1. I gave myself a new name, Daniel Reed. No ID, no social, just cash and silence. I got a job washing dishes at a Greek diner in Queens. $9 cash per hour, 12-hour shifts, no days off. I saved every dollar in a coffee can buried under a tree in Van Cortlandt Park. Year 2. I taught myself to code on that $59 laptop. Free code camp. YouTube at 240p. I sat in McDonald's from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., stealing Wi-Fi before my dishwashing shift. I built my first app in the laundromat at 3 a.m., a restaurant inventory tracker. Sold it on a dark web forum for $38,000 in Bitcoin. Cashed out through 42 different exchanges. No one could trace it. I disappeared again, less than greater than year 3. I rented a 6x8 storage unit in the Bronx for $89 a month. No heat, no bathroom, just a cot, a hot plate, and silence. I lived there for 14 months, coded 20 hours a day, built a supply chain AI for trucking companies, sold it to a logistics fund in Singapore for $4.2 million, all Bitcoin, all offshore. Year 4. I bought my first property, a burned-out duplex in Detroit for $11,000 cash. Fixed it with my own hands. Rented to a veteran family for $800 a month. Used the rent to buy the house next door. By the end of year 5, I owned 127 houses across 6 dying cities. All cash. All untraceable. Year 6. I started a private equity firm in the Caymans, Eclipse Capital. I bought failing manufacturing plants, turned them around, sold them for 9- and 10-figure profits. Year 7. I entered DeFi and privacy coins early. $100 million became $1.4 billion in 18 months. Cold storage, hardware wallets hidden in 7 different countries. Year 8 to 11. I became a ghost billionaire. No photos, no interviews, no name on Forbes. I paid to stay off the list. I bought private jets through nested trusts, islands through anonymous foundations, politicians through perfectly legal donations. I built an intelligence network of ex-CIA, ex-Mossad, ex-Spetsnaz. They watched Emily and David for 5 straight years, every purchase, every vacation, every lie. And what they found was gold. They had become perfect. $3.8 million house in Westchester, 2 kids in private school. David's startup just raised $42 million. Emily's mom influencer account, 2.1 million followers. Hashtag Boss Mom. They wrote a book together. From Broke to Blessed, Our Love Story. It sold 400,000 copies. They were on morning shows, on podcasts, on magazine covers. They told the world how they built everything from nothing after Michael abandoned them. They never mentioned that the nothing was me sleeping in a storage unit while they used my name, my credit, my life. Less than greater than year 12. My net worth, $1.41 billion. All hidden, all ready. I booked a private jet under a name they would never recognize. I flew into Teterboro Airport at 3:14 a.m. on the exact 12th anniversary of the day she left me with $63. I rented a black Maybach, drove myself. I pulled up to their $3.8 million house at 6:03 a.m. The sprinklers were on. The Range Rovers were in the driveway. I walked up the front steps in a $65,000 Keaton suit and rang the doorbell. Emily opened the door in $800 pajamas, holding a coffee in hand. She didn't recognize me at first. Then her cup fell and shattered on the marble floor I had just bought the night before. "Good morning, Emily. I believe this is still my house." September 12th, 2035. Exactly 12 years to the day she left me with $63. 9 a.m. I walked into the 58th floor boardroom of Carter and Hudson Capital, the $380 million venture fund David had just raised to build a new luxury condo tower in Manhattan. The room was packed. 42 investors, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, 2 senators, 3 Forbes list billionaires. David was at the head of the table, mid-pitch, giant renderings of Hudson Tower behind him. Emily sat in the front row, perfect hair, perfect dress, perfect influencer smile, live streaming the whole thing to her 4.1 million followers. The doors opened. I walked in. Silence fell like a guillotine. David's laser pointer slipped from his hand. Emily's phone dropped, screen cracked. I didn't speak for a full 30 seconds, just stood there in a $120,000 Loro Piana Vicuña coat, black folder in hand. Then I spoke. "Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Carter. Some of you may remember me as the homeless husband Emily left 12 years ago today. As of 8:53 this morning, I am now the majority owner of every company, property, bank account, and contract in this room. Less than greater than." I opened the black folder. 38 numbered pages, one for every minute I planned to speak. Page 1. Carter and Hudson Capital, 68.4% controlling interest acquired over 41 months through 312 nested Cayman entities. All voting rights transferred to me at 8:53 a.m. today. Page 2. The Hudson Tower Project. Building permits revoked at 8:47 a.m. The land is now owned by my foundation. Page 3. David, your $42 million funding round. Every investor in this room just received an email withdrawing their commitment because I own their funds. Page 7. Emily, your 4.1 million followers, your entire account was registered under my stolen identity. Meta just terminated it for fraud. Permanently. Page 14. The $3.8 million house, mortgage called in full, due today, cash. Page 21. Your children's trust funds, $14.2 million, transferred to my veteran scholarship fund this morning. Page 28. Your reputation. Every journalist in this room just received a 400-page dossier with 12 years of messages, bank records, and hotel receipts proving exactly how you built this empire on a lie. Page 35. And finally, the wedding venue you booked for your 15-year vow renewal next month. I bought it last year. It's now a homeless shelter, named after me. Less than greater than 38 pages, 38 minutes, 38 separate deaths of everything they had built. When I finished, David was on the floor. Emily was screaming into a dead phone. Investors were running for doors that were already locked. I closed the folder. Today I took back 12 years. With interest. You have until 5 p.m. to vacate the house. After that, everything you own becomes property of the Michael Carter Foundation for Homeless Veterans. 90 days. That's how long they thought they could fight me. They were wrong. Day 1. They hired the most expensive law firm in Manhattan, $2,400 an hour, filed emergency injunctions in 7 jurisdictions, claimed fraud, coercion, mental incapacity. I let them spend $4.1 million in the first week. Day 4, Emily went full nuclear. 48-minute tearful YouTube video titled, "My Billionaire Stalker Ex-Husband Destroyed My Family." 12 million views in 24 hours. Hashtag Save Emily Carter trending worldwide. I waited exactly 36 hours. Then released a 4-minute counter video. Zero narration, just documents, bank transfers, text messages, hotel receipts from the week after she left me, the forged signature on my stolen identity documents, the $9,400 withdrawal the day she disappeared. The video hit 187 million views in 48 hours. Save Emily Carter became Emily Carter fraud. Day 9. They tried to freeze my assets through international courts. My lawyers in Liechtenstein, Singapore, and the Caymans filed counterclaims simultaneously. Every judge received a sealed envelope with evidence of David's tax evasion in 6 countries. All cases dismissed within 72 hours. Day 15. Ryan attempted a public apology tour, morning shows, podcasts. I was young. I was stupid. I'm a changed man. I bought every network that booked him. Every slot was replaced with a paid advertisement. Carter Foundation, helping victims of identity theft, featuring their faces. Day 22. They tried to disappear. Private jet to New Zealand, non-extradition. The jet was registered to one of my companies, grounded for safety inspection, indefinitely. Day 30. They attempted bankruptcy protection. I bought the debt, all of it, $187 million, called it due immediately. Day 44, Emily tried the pregnancy card. Announced on live television she was pregnant again, begged for mercy for the baby. I released medical records legally obtained. Vasectomy David had in 2031. Procedure paid for with my stolen insurance. Day 58. Their children were removed from private school. Every institution in the tri-state area received the same letter. Children of convicted identity thieves are not eligible for enrollment. Day 71. Their parents disowned them publicly. Press conference. Tears. We no longer recognize them as family. Day 83. Their cars were repossessed at 3 a.m., towed in front of the cameras they once loved. Day 90. The final strike. Exactly 90 days after the boardroom at 9 a.m., a single black Suburban pulled up to the extended stay motel they were hiding in. My lawyer stepped out, handed them one manila envelope. Inside, final judgment, $1.41 billion in damages, garnishment of all future earnings, permanent restraining order, 2 one-way bus tickets to a town with 614 residents and no cell service, 1 check for $63, the exact amount I had the day she left, and 1 handwritten letter 12 years ago You left me with $63 and no name. Today I leave you with $63 and no future. We are even. Never appear in my world again. Michael Carter, the man you thought would stay broken. They took the bus. They live in that town now. No internet. No credit. No hope. Every year on September 12th, a plain envelope arrives at the only post office in town. Inside, nothing. Just a single blank sheet of paper. They know who it's from. They burn it unopened. That's real karma. Silent. Permanent. Complete. 12 years have passed since the 90-day war ended. Emily and David no longer exist in any database, any social network, any world that still matters. They live in a town in central Nebraska. Population, 614. One stop sign, no traffic lights. Cell service drops 2 miles outside city limits. David works the night shift at a meatpacking plant. $17.20 an hour. He stands in -4-degree freezers for 10 hours, cutting beef carcasses with a bandsaw. His hands are permanently scarred. He hasn't had a sick day in 8 years. Emily is a cashier at the only grocery store in town, $14 an hour. She wears a blue vest with a name tag that just says E. Customers call her ma'am. Some of them watched her old apology video on their phones while she rings up their groceries. They rent an 820-square-foot single-wide trailer. Rent, $580 a month. The roof leaks when it rains. They keep buckets in the hallway. Their electricity gets shut off every other month. They pay in cash at the convenience store down the road. Their 2 children dropped out of high school. The oldest works the same meat plant as David. The youngest ran away at 16. Hasn't been heard from in 3 years. Every September 12th, a plain manila envelope arrives at the trailer park office. No return address. Inside, one photograph of the mansion they once owned, now a boarding school for foster kids. One photograph of my family, my wife, our 4 children, on the front lawn of that same house. One printed line, "Some empires are built on lies. Some are built on truth. Guess which one lasted?" They stopped opening the envelopes 8 years ago. The park manager just throws them in the burn barrel now. Their names trigger content warnings on every search engine. Wikipedia page, Carter Identity Theft Scandal, 2023 to 2035. Locked. No edits allowed. They tried to move once. Different state, different names. The envelope found them in 11 days. They never tried again. They are ghosts. Living cautionary tales. And every year on September 12th, somewhere in America, a teenager Googles their names for a school project on fraud and learns exactly what happens when you destroy someone and think they'll stay destroyed. That's where they are now, and that's where they will stay. Forever. Karma doesn't scream. It just waits. And when it's done, it doesn't need to speak again. Today, I am 44 years old. Net worth, $1.87 billion and still growing. I own 73 companies on 5 continents. The largest network of trade schools for single parents in North America. 3 private islands. One of them is a full wildlife sanctuary. And the Michael Carter Foundation that has quietly paid rent, mortgages, and college tuition for over 14,000 people who were once left with nothing. But none of that is what wakes me up smiling every single morning. What wakes me up is her. Her name is Dr. Sophia Reyes, former Air Force flight surgeon, 2 tours in Afghanistan, 3 Purple Hearts she never talks about. We met 6 years ago at a veterans charity gala I hosted anonymously. I was wearing a tux with no name tag. She was in a simple navy dress, no jewelry, eyes that had seen the worst of humanity and still chose hope. She walked straight up to me and said, "You're the ghost who paid for 400 prosthetics last year and refused credit. I've been looking for you for 18 months." I laughed for the first time in over a decade. 3 hours later, we were on the balcony watching the sunrise over the Pacific, and she told me her own story. Lost her entire medevac crew, came home with survivor's guilt so heavy she couldn't breathe, rebuilt herself. 1 surgery, 1 patient, 1 day at a time. 6 months later, she moved into the estate that used to belong to Emily and David. We turned their trophy room into a pediatric cancer wing. We turned their wine cellar into a library for foster kids. We married exactly 12 years, and one day after the day, Emily left me. September 13th, same month, different life. We have 4 children now. Our oldest, Gabriel, 11 years old, already fluent in 4 languages, building robots in the garage I once slept behind. Our daughter, Isabella, 9, fearless, climbs trees higher than the roof, has her mother's unbreakable spirit. Twin boys, Lucas and Mateo, 6 years old, identical chaos machines who still fight over who gets to sit on my lap first. Every morning I wake up to the sound of their feet running down the hallway, shouting, "Daddy, the flag is up!" Because we raise the American flag every single day at sunrise, no matter where in the world we are. Every night Sophia falls asleep with her head on my chest, her old dog tags from the war, and the original $63 I had the day I lost everything sealed together in a glass pendant around her neck. We turned the entire Westchester estate into a living foundation. Single parents live there rent-free while they finish school. Veterans recover in peace. Kids who once slept in cars now sleep in bedrooms with their names on the door. Every September 12th, we throw the biggest celebration on the East Coast. Food trucks, live music, fireworks that light up the whole county. At exactly 1912, the minute Emily's text came through 12 years earlier, I stand on the front steps with my family, raise a glass of 1963 Dom Perignon, and toast. To the people who tried to bury us and never realized we were seeds. That's my life now. Not revenge, redemption. I didn't just take back the years they stole. I multiplied them and gave them to thousands of people who actually deserved a second chance. Every year on September 12th at exactly 1912, after the fireworks are over and the last child has gone to bed, I do one last thing. I walk alone to the end of our private pier, the same pier where Emily once took her new beginning photos the week she left me with $63. I sit on the edge, feet in the water, and I open a small ebony box I carved myself the first year I could afford tools. Inside are three things. The original text message she sent the day she left, printed, laminated, never faded. The $63 in cash I had that day, still in the same crumpled bills. One sealed envelope, heavy cream paper, my handwriting, black wax seal with my crest. Every year I write a new letter, by hand, no copies. This is the letter I wrote and mailed last month, word for word. Emily and David, 12 more years have passed. You are still breathing. I am still creating. You count pennies in a town that forgot your names. My children learn on planes and in classrooms named after them. You hide from cameras. The world asks for my autograph. Your story is a cautionary tale taught in law schools. My story is a commencement speech at Harvard, Stanford, and West Point. This is the final letter you will ever receive from me. There will be no more envelopes, no more photographs, no more reminders. I am removing you from my universe completely, not out of hate, not out of mercy, but because you no longer deserve even the microscopic space you once occupied in the back of my mind. You are footnotes in a book that became a global bestseller without you in it. Live whatever is left of your lives. I have already lived the one I was meant to. The man you left with $63 now gives away more than that every minute. Thank you for teaching me what real wealth is by showing me what poverty of soul looks like. Goodbye forever. Michael Carter, the man you thought would stay broken and who instead broke the cycle. I sealed the envelope, walked to the end of the pier, held it over the water. Then, for the first time in 12 years, I didn't mail it. I lit a single match, watched the flame crawl up the paper until it kissed my fingers. Then I let the ashes fall into the ocean, one by one, until nothing remained. That was the last time their names were ever spoken aloud in my house. So if you stayed until the very last second of this 70-minute story, and someone once told you you'd never be anything, that you weren't strong enough, rich enough, smart enough, worthy enough, look at me. From homeless, nameless, broken, to a billionaire who took back his name, his future, and built a legacy that will outlive us all. You don't need to destroy your enemies. You just need to outgrow them so completely that one day they wake up and realize the biggest mistake of their life was ever thinking you would stay down. Thank you for staying until the very end.